Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining me again. We're going to do something a little bit different today. Today, I want to share a story with you that crossed my heart a couple days ago. It's a story of when I was a child. I was attending to be in a 4-H program and I had to do something with some animals. So I was enrolled into horseback riding lessons. And as I look back on it, I remember that drive way out there in the country to a Miss Hillary's house. And Miss Hillary was going to be my teacher. And so I was dropped off out there for the Sunday afternoon, and it was the first Sunday afternoon of many, many, many Sunday afternoons. And I remember being so excited. I remember having my special boots on. I remember having my special gloves, and I was with Miss Hillary. She led me to the barn to where my horse was going to be at, that I was going to be working with. And all that excitement, all that favor went out the window when I was standing side by side with Jelly Bean. Jelly Bean was a painter horse. He was about 16 hands high. He was like an off-white with black spots on him, the shape of jelly beans, which led his master to calling him Jelly Bean. Jelly Bean was big, and I was scared. Jelly Bean, he had real big eyes and long eyelashes, and horses make a lot of vocalizations. If you're not familiar with them, the only real connection I had with a horse before then was on TV, and what TV portrayed them as kneeing or knee-awing, how they would mimic the vocalizations, but they make tons of different vocalizations, and they're very large animals. Miss Hillary wanted me to pet him. She wanted me to touch him, but I was so scared. I didn't want to pet Jelly Bean. He was big and I felt like he was going to bite me or he was going to knock me over. He was 16 hands high. And for an 11-year-old, that is a really big horse. Anyways, Miss Hillary took my hand and she placed it on Jelly Bean and she helped me to stroke his coat, stroke his fur. And then she removed her hand and I was able to stroke Jelly Bean. I remember his body was warm. I'm getting somewhere. His body was warm. So the whole point of me wanting to take up horseback riding lessons was I wanted to ride a horse. I wanted to get my picture taken with a horse. I wanted to show my friends at the 4-H club, like, hey, I can ride a horse. That was the only purpose for me to take horseback riding lessons, is to show my friends, look, I was riding a horse. But Miss Hillary had other things in mind for me. For several weeks, Sunday afternoons, I spent cleaning up after Jelly Bean. I spent washing Jelly Bean. I spent feeding Jelly Bean, and if you think horses just eat hay and straw, you're wrong. They eat all types of stuff. They eat oatmeals, they have vitamins, they have grains. She had a well-balanced diet, fresh fruits and vegetables that she would feed him, and he ate a lot. And cleaning up, and she had several horses, and just cleaning up that one and taking after him was a huge job within itself. I remember complaining to myself, like, all I do is clean up after Jelly Bean. All I do is wash him. All I do is feed him. I haven't been able to ride him yet. I didn't have any bragging rights yet to tell my friends at school. And on one particular Sunday, Miss Hillary, she had put the saddle and mounted the horse. And she assisted me my very first time with getting on top of Jelly Bean. And I remember the time that I had been waiting for this for several weeks to mount Jelly Bean, to ride him. And in that moment of me on top of huge Jelly Bean, I was scared. I was petrified. I remember how high I was up off the ground. I remember how wide and how big he was, and how when I mounted him, he was making these little vocalizations, which made me even more nervous, made me even more scared. And the adrenaline and the nervousness, I just froze. And Miss Hillary was assisting me. She handed me the reins and she was instructing me on what to do to get Jelly Bean to move. And if you're not familiar with horses, riding a horse is almost like driving a car. The reins, they're not just there to look cute in a picture, and those reins do something. Those reins, they have bits that are attached to them, and the reins tell the horse to go left or to go right. And the stirrups that you put your feet in, you kind of tap the belly of the horse with either foot, and you instruct the horse how fast to go, when to stop, when to slow down. So it was a lot going on, and I just froze up. I just couldn't get it. I couldn't get what was going on. I was just completely beside myself, and my instructor knew it. She said, "You're uncomfortable, aren't you?" And I was shy. I was a kid. I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "All right." She said, "Well, give me the reins." So I handed her the reins back, and she said, "I want you to lay down on the horse." And so I was like, "Lay down?" She said, "Yeah, lay down on the horse." So that's what I did. I laid down on the horse. And she said, "I want you to close your eyes." And so I didn't know what she was doing. Hillary was a little, So I closed my eyes. I was laying down on the horse, and she said, "Do you feel him breathing?" And when she asked me that, I could feel his body under my body, breathing in and breathing out, inspiring and expiring. She said, "Match your breath to his breath." And I did. And a horse's inspiration and expiration is very, very long, but I tried my best to match my breathing with his breathing. And while I was laid out on the horse, she began to lead him. He began to walk. She said, "Do you feel him prancing? Do you feel him walking?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Feel it. Feel it in your body. Feel his legs. It's like they're your legs." And that's what I did with my eyes closed. I felt Jelly Bean's front hooves moving through his body, through my body. I felt his back legs moving. I can feel him kind of whip his tail around. When he made vocalizations, the vibrations in his body vibrated inside of my body. And in a weird, crazy way, I became united. I connected with Jelly Bean. And in that very moment, my fear left, my insecurity left, my unconfidence left, my intimidation of how big he was left. I was at one with Jelly Bean. Miss Hillary gave me the reins back, and I was back to being stable enough to understand what was going on. I was comfortable. I wasn't shell-shocked by his strength and how big he was. That was the beginning of a relationship that I had with Jelly Bean. In case you're asking, in case you're wondering, yes, I did get my picture with Jelly Bean to show my friends. But I learned something much, much deeper with those several months of horseback riding lessons. I learned that with that magnificent creature, he was more than just a ride. He was more than just a picture to show to my friends. He was more than just me having bragging rights to my friends, or to show a 4-H club that, hey, I'm good enough to be here. Or I fit in with everybody else because I can ride a horse. Miss Hillary, my teacher, taught me that, she said, the horses are like dogs. They want to be your companion. They want to be talked to. They want to be loved on. They want to be respected, and they are more than just the work that they provide. I'm telling you this story to tell you that our relationship with God, not that I'm referring to him as a horse in any way, but our relationship with God is the same way. He is not a genie in a bottle. He is not someone we can receive gifts from and take pictures and show it to our friends so that we can show them, hey, we've made it. He wants us to get to know him. He wants us to connect with him. He wants his inspirations and our expirations to connect. He wants us to feel him, to have his heart, to have his mind. He wants intimacy, not just any kind of intimacy. He wants emotional intimacy. He wants to connect with, he wants to be our best friends. He's more than just a genie in a bottle. Our prayer today is, Lord, allow us to connect with you. Allow us to be at one with you, Lord. Allow us to have the same heart that you have. Allow us to have the same feelings that you have. Allow us, oh Father God, help us, show us the way, oh Lord, of how we can do better. We want to be more than just mere Christians. We want to be dynamic Christians. We want to have relationship, not just religion. I am Nikki the Great, and together we are growing, sharing, and thriving.